So here I am with Osage orange wood, and I'm going to make a spindle for fire drill. It's a little bit thick. It's a good length, maybe a tad long. I'm going to start by trimming it down, trim down the diameter. Start by making it a square, a smaller cross section, and then round off the square. Make it a round cross section. Make it very straight, very even, very round. And I don't see the video. It is Osage orange and young wood. That's nice, pretty yellow tint to it. All right, so I'm working towards square. This nice young sapwood carves really easily. These nice long strips. So far I haven't trouble with catching any bad angles. And I'm going to work around to a square. Okay, you want to go a little bit. I'll that too much. Takes a few minutes. So that same piece of wood, about 10 minutes later. It didn't take too long to first trim it into a square cross section and cut off the corners to make it an octagon cross section, and then round. It's pretty straight, not absolutely perfectly straight, but I think it's going to be straight enough for this purpose. Blunt at one end, pointed at the other. It'll be my spindle for fireboard. A little bit longer than a lot of people use. I don't think that'll be a problem, as long as it's stiff enough that it doesn't bend. This is pretty hard. Okay, I've just started to burn this spindle into this fireboard. The fireboard is from a piece of ash log firewood. Clothesline cordage, double twisted, piece of honeysuckle branch for a bow, always available around here. Just holding the tail end of the cordage in here. I'm using fatwood bearing block. I haven't used this before, and it seems to work really nicely. I've seen other folks do it on the interwebs. So, bow, pointy end of the spindle. I twist it around like that. Some people start the reverse direction and twist it the other way, and it comes out the same. So this is holding the cord in the hand, and needs a little bit of fiddling to adjust it, but it works when you don't have a huge amount of cordage to tie off on the tail end. So within a few strokes I'm getting whiff of smoke there. Now I'm getting a lot of smoke, and that's usually a pretty good sign. And that's still just burning it in right now. So, good burn in. I'm going to trim the diameter of that down a little bit. It's a little bit too fat down there. And I'm going to cut my notch. Okay. I trimmed the diameter of the spindle down so it'll spin more easily. Cut my notch. I think I went too deep on the notch, so when I'm spinning, when I'm using the spindle, I'm going to have it leaning towards the board a little bit. Well, top leaning away, pointing towards the board to keep it from popping out of the notch. The ground is soaking wet here, so every time I set anything down, I've got a strip of wood underneath my fireboard, which is my amber catcher, but also just sort of keeping everything dry. And anytime I set this down, I'm keeping the point up, the hot end off the ground. There's my fat wood. The hole there has just worn just a little tiny bit, and I'm really pleased with how it's working. It's actually better than a lot of my other things, like my stone handholds. Get a whiff of smoke almost immediately. Since they're hardwood, both of them, the ash and the Osage, it's taking a fair amount of pressure to get any sawdust off of there. So I'll work this a little bit. catching there a little bit. Probably don't have enough tension on the cord. I feel like I need to be going a little bit faster there, but there is a lot of smoke coming off that ash pile, the tinder pile. Oh gosh, I've already got it. Didn't think so. So that's, oh, just violated my rule, set my spindle down on the wet ground. So just a couple of minutes of spinning. Looks like it's ignited in a couple of different places. So I'll push all of that together, let it grow a little bit, then blow it into a tinder bundle. It's been raining lots of everything. I processed some of it inside by rolling it, stretching it, crushing it. Breaking small parts, right out a little bit. The rest of it just as is, things as far as possible. Little fire there. Well, what do you know? Even with fairly wet grass that's just so finely divided, didn't take too long to get it going. So that is bow drill fire using Osage orange as a spindle, ash as a fireboard, fatwood as a bearing block, which is my first time trying it. Other people have done a lot with it. And I kind of like it. That's something you might actually be able to find in the woods around here. Used clothesline cordage on my bow. Bow was Asian honeysuckle weed that grows around here. There you go. Fire. Ta-da.